Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. A few of you mentioned this is your first session. We're very honored that you chose our session to be your first session. Hopefully you'll get some value out of this. Quickly, an introduction of the company, Heady. So we are, well, I'm Rahul Khosla. I'm the founder and CEO of Heady. Heady is a Brooklyn-based mobile product consultancy. Well, what is that? It's essentially an agency that designs, builds, and executes products that are mobile first. So primarily mobile apps, but then also mobile first websites and other digital products that you would interact with via mobile apps. And that's why App Clips is right up our alley. We've analyzed it up and down, and we're super excited to talk to you about it. At Heady, we do everything that goes into making a good mobile first digital product, be it strategy, user research, product design, the actual development, back end, front end, and then also QA, DevOps, hosting, all of that. So we're essentially your one-stop shop, if you will, for mobile first digital products. And today I have with me Marina Tassi. She's a senior product manager at Heady. She's actually been exploring app clips for one of the projects that she manages, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Yeah, as Rahul said, I'm a senior product manager at Heady. We actually explored app clips for one of our clients, and I was very involved in that exploration. It's a very new technology and one that I'm pretty excited about as a product manager. So I'm really looking forward to any of the conversation that we have here today. So I think what I'll do is I'll kick us off with a little overview of what app clips actually are. It is a relatively new technology specific to Apple. And so if you want to kind of follow along or get a visual to go with it, you can just double click. There's a little screen share right now with a presentation up that you can see an example of an app clip from Panera Bread. So to give an overview of what an app clip actually is, it is essentially a cutout of your application that you can insert in other business channels. So in the screenshot here from Panera Bread, they actually have inserted an app clip into their Apple Maps listings. So you can test this out today. I don't know if it's location specific, but at least in the New York City area, it actually works on Apple Maps, where you can go in here, even if you don't have the Panera Bread app. If you click the order food button on Apple Maps, it actually prompts you to open their new app clips technology. And that actually directly opens the app clip. So this is a cutout of your app. You don't need to install it, and it is fully functional. You can literally place your Panera Bread order with this app clip that is live today. So it's pretty cool. Not too many companies are utilizing it quite yet. Yeah. So as I've previously mentioned, this is an interactive session. So the way that we're structuring this is me and Rahul are just going to dig into a little discussion about this. But if at any point anybody wants to join in our discussion, you can join by video or post questions in the chat. I strongly encourage everyone to do so. And I guess I'll kick us off with a question to you, Rahul. So I know App Clips is pretty new. I wanted to kind of get your first thoughts about it. We've received some opinions that it's a little gimmicky in the past. So I kind of wanted to see what you thought about this technology when you first heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, to be brutally honest, I didn't think much of it in the beginning. Apple does have a history of like teasing you with new technology, and a lot of the times it doesn't fully take shape. But App Clips, the more I dug, I do believe that it's a full, very thoughtful and a complete full feature in of itself in the Apple ecosystem, and it will serve a good purpose, especially with the recent changes they've done with IDFA and tracking and your user acquisition strategy. I'm assuming a lot of you product owners who are joining us today are thinking about that and how the changes will affect your business. I think this is a take from Apple to mitigate some of that loss by making your app more discoverable and your app's functionality, even if not the entire functionality, but a subset of what your app can do, more frictionless and make it more available to a broader audience. So I do believe that this is a take on Apple from Apple's point that they are going to offset some of the changes that are affecting brands by making it their lives easier through other mechanisms. Well, that was my take, at least. Marina, what do you think?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. When I first watched their demo of this in the WWDC conference, I wasn't actually that interested. But when I first saw the use case with which we have here, which is Panera Bread, that's when it actually struck me a little bit about what they're actually doing. So in my conversations with other people who didn't see the value so much, I like to use the example of try before you buy. So if you guys have ever gone to kind of like a food court in the mall and in a mall and seen them give away these free samples and you kind of try it and it's low effort and then you end up buying it, this is kind of the strategy that I think Apple played into here. So here you don't have to put any effort in, you don't have to take screen real estate, you don't even have to wait for the installation. It's kind of served up to you on that silver platter, like waiting to get you a taste of their business and their brand. So yeah, I don't know. I thought this was really, really interesting technology. To talk about some of like the benefits, like you can see here in this Panera Bread example, they went with like a very standard use case, but I think there's a huge, huge number of use cases that are still to be explored by like many of the product owners out there. I know people have used this before in games. They've done like try the game without downloading it, checkout. Like you can basically put any of your app functionalities in this app clip. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah. And for those who are joining, again, I do remember seeing a message or two about excited to learn more about app clips. So in that way, I think I'll start with at least my knowledge, Marina, and feel free to add on. I believe you've done a deeper dive than I have so far on app clips. But essentially, to me, what is an app clip? So an app clip is a small portion of your app. You will, for the developers in the audience, you will build using the same tools that you build an app. So you will be coding it in Xcode. But then when you compile it, you choose a different target and you build it out as an app clip. You will be using a lot of code, or at least you can decide to share code between your app and assets as well, and the app clip. So from a tech standpoint, you're basically building a smaller version of your app that you can make available to your users, not via the App Store, which traditionally is a friction point if the users don't already have an app, but through wherever, in time, whatever the user is doing, you can expose an app clip right there. So for instance, you can have a user get onto the app clip from literally, like Marina mentioned, through Apple Maps. And my guess is Google eventually, if Google's iOS app may enable support for it, you can access it through NFC, through a QR code, through an iMessage. You can even share app clips with people if the developer of the app clip enables it, you can share it through an iMessage as well. So essentially, in a nutshell, what we're talking about today is Apple's introduction of a mini version of your app, if you will. That's my understanding. Marina, do you want to add to that, or did I miss anything about what is an app clip?
No, that's totally accurate. And Jake Strickler, I see your question over there, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it. So actually, if you guys have deep links in your application that allow you to like link into your app, app clips work very similarly. So you can put them kind of wherever you would put a link. So some common use cases are, as Larry said right there, NFC tags. You can write it into an NFC tag, and then if somebody taps their phone up against it, it could open your app clip. So this is actually super cool because if you guys have physical store locations or like some type of like physical representation of your business, you can start making it so that users can merge the digital and the physical, which I know is a big focus area and like future facing push from the product community recently. So yeah, if you guys don't know what an NFC tag, it's like basically like a little sticker. You can, well, it comes in various forms, but it could be like a little sticker. And if you tap your phone against it, it automatically interacts with your device. So if they have Apple and they tap their phone against it, it could automatically open the app clip shown in the second phone in my little screen share right now. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Rahul nailed it on the head, but just a little more info there about use cases.
Thank you. And I would say, Marina, do you want to add on to what are some of the out of the box or integrations and technologies, for instance, Apple sign in with Apple, Apple Pay? Do you want to touch upon what Apple advocates for you to use in an app clip?
Yeah, so Apple, so touching on that and also a little bit on Joseph's question here, app clips are limited in that they can only be so big. So if you as a product owner, product manager has ever dealt with a stakeholder that wants to put everything possible inside the app and give the user every single option, that is not possible in an app clip. So streamlining the app experience to the specific use case that you are using that app clip for. So in the Panera Bread example, they basically throw you right into the order process. They don't ask you which store you're picking up from or whatever. They throw you right in. So streamlining it is really important. So some of the things that Apple recommends is that you use it with Apple Pay. So if you want to do a checkout, it is going to be with Apple Pay. If you do sign in, it's probably going to be sign in with Apple. So if you don't have social sign in, that could be a limitation. If you can use SDKs from other third parties in the app clip, you can, but it has a size limit. So it depends on how much size, like file size, I guess, that takes up. And again, sorry, not a developer here, but I know that my developers were actually surprisingly happy to see that it was limited because then they didn't have to put every single thing in it.
Totally. I will add really quickly, though, that I do believe there is a way. Just sign in. Apple recommends sign in with Apple, and I'm sure we all can come up with a bajillion reasons why Apple would want to do that. Really. But there is, if you dig deeper, there is a way, a provision to be able to use other auth services. Apple in their human interface guideline, they do have a full set of guidelines now for app clips. I definitely recommend you checking that out. They also have videos, aside from the videos from WWDC, they have videos that are specific to app clips for more information. And in one of those, it's a deeper dive into how I think you can get other SDKs and other mechanisms of auth, especially integrated into your app. With that, the other benefit, I'm just going to go ahead. I know, Marina, you didn't ask me this, but I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit more knowledge, which I thought was really cool about app clips is that they took away with IDFA, like the location tracking and stuff like that. But in an app clip, they gave you what they call location confirmation. So it's not tracking and it's a one-time, but when you do get an app clip, which is whatever experience, so let's say I was at a particular store, and I think Apple's example is ordering a smoothie. If I'm at the particular smoothie station or store, use the NFC tag. But what if the NFC tags were mixed up and I don't want to place an order for a smoothie at a different location than where I'm standing? So for reasons such as those, they created this nifty location confirmation. It's still user has to give you the permission, but it's very easy. You code it very quickly, and then it allows you to be confident that the user is at the location that they're saying they're at for a more streamlined experience. I thought that was pretty cool because originally my guess would have been like no way Apple's going to give location tracking or anything to location, because it seems like the direction is to reduce access to that as much as possible, probably for a good reason if you think about the end user. From a brand's perspective, it is crippling. So it was interesting to see that they allow you to do that.
Yeah, no, totally. Because Apple has just generally taken this direction of, which is really awesome for the user, but not so awesome for the business, which is that they are just really going the full privacy route. And given this is the mobile conference, a lot of people know that they've killed the IDFA to help with privacy, or they're planning on killing the IDFA in January. And so it's actually really interesting that Apple made the decision to just straight up allow you, without forcing the user to download the app, access location, access notifications. Like Rahul and I touched base before this, and he shared with me that you can actually do notifications without actually asking for permission through app clips, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. as somebody who felt that notifications were going to become a big problem without IDFA, this is like a huge win for the business owners out there.
Huge win. And I would add to that. Oh, sorry, Marina, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rahul.
I'm just going to quickly add to that notification piece that not only did they bake that in, you can request ephemeral notifications, which is their take on a short-term, essentially, notification permission, which doesn't even require the user's action. It's behind the scenes. For up to 8 hours from when you first interact with an app clip, you can send a notification to the user. So going back to the smoothie example, that's great, because if I ordered something through app clip, I don't have to do anything, and the brand or the store will be able to notify me when my smoothie is ready for pickup and for me to enjoy, I guess. Yeah, lots of good things in app clips. What else, Marina? What else stood out to you from it's where it can be used, or like just the tech itself? Are there things that really you were surprised by, or you liked that you saw?
Yeah, so actually I was interested because if you guys watched the WWDC conference, Apple actually generally is taking a stronger stance on how we engage users. So if you guys have updated to the new version, you'll see that Apple actually gives you the option of hiding all apps from your homepage real estate and kind of throwing it in a folder on the last page and auto-organizing those folders for you. So that screen real estate, I feel like, is going to become very rare. Like, you are going to have to kind of fight for it. So they introduced widgets to kind of help with that, which was also a big move that people who on the Android side were waiting for a really long time didn't expect Apple to kind of ever do, even though Android had widgets forever. But for this app clip specifically, it's interesting because instead of forcing your user to go in and click the app, they actually are now seemingly taking a stronger stance of make it convenient for your user to engage with the application. It's no longer like forcing the user to come into the app. It's more like bringing the app up at convenient times, whether that's through interesting widgets, whether that's through app clips at opportune interaction moments. So yeah, I don't know. It was a strong stance from Apple. They're going in a different direction. I think it'll shift the landscape quite a bit. But yeah, I see some questions here.
I will take the one from Sarathi. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name. The question is, for those who are just on audio, if you don't have a mobile app yet, could an app clip be a good entry point to creating a fully baked app? Interesting. I do believe so. I didn't read anywhere, see anywhere that you must have an app to have an app clip, but I could be wrong. It's a use case that I personally just didn't envision yet, but that could be a good entry point if you can have an app clip without an app. The other thing I would say is that if you do have an app, already you have an app, and then you build an app clip, to build upon what Marina said, it's meeting the users where they are. It's not having them go to the app store, download the app, and then get to experience a functionality or feature of the app, but experience it first, and then you decide whether you want to provide it the real estate on your phone or not. The other benefit to that is also the seamless transition of if a user does interact with an app clip first and doesn't have the app, let's say continuing, sorry, I keep going back to the smoothie example, but I think it is a good one. Um, I've ordered that smoothie, and now if I did have an app, I would have been eligible, let's say, for some reward points, and my 10th smoothie would have been free. But I didn't have the app, and I interacted on App Clip, and where's that data going? And Apple thought about that too. So if you do download the app from that prompt, like once I'm finished with my transaction, if I download the app and sign in using the same authentication, I will, or Apple will be able to, or your brand will be able to recognize it's the same users and give you those points, because the data is essentially being stored server side for the brand. So if you have an app clip, you can essentially transition the user data over to the app once the user downloads the app. My understanding again to this is depends how you code the app clip. I'm assuming you're going to send that data back server side to your company, like to your service. If you strictly leave it on Apple side, like on the front end, that probably will get deleted, because the other thing Apple does in the same way of managing your home screen and real estate, they manage app clips for you. You don't have to delete them. Apple automatically has a memory management thing where they will take out and delete app clips and free up space on your phone if you haven't interacted with an app clip for a while. But you could access the app clip through the app library, that the last page on that they've introduced now with iOS 14. You can still search for an app clip, open it much like you will an app, except you don't have to manage it. You don't have to delete it. The Apple will do it for you. So there's definitely, like, they're thinking through. Sarathi, to your point again, I do believe that they're thinking that is the direction they want to take this.
Totally. Yeah, and Rahul, to go back to your point about collecting data server side, if you do that through an app clip, I'm going to tie this into Juan and Larry's point over here. If you do collect the data on an app clip, you actually are collecting data from a user that's not totally, like, that didn't install your app. So it's low commitment from their end, but you get data about them without the strong commitment of installing the app. So that's a pretty interesting tactical advantage there, to touch on your point, Juan. And yeah, as Larry said, the use cases in the travel industry are another way that, or another thing that could be a tactical advantage. You could imagine yourself going through lines at airports and quickly interacting just by tapping your phone to an IDF or a IDFA, sorry, an NFC tag, and it popping up with your ticket. Isn't that so much better than having to look through your phone, get the app, actually find the page with your ticket in the app? Like, this is quick interactions. You get the data, the user interacts very quickly, they find exactly what they need. So from a business perspective, that's very strategic, right? You don't have to give them everything, every option at every moment. It's more like what is relevant to them in that moment. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Totally. So Marina, there's a question from the audience. Jacob Myers asks, app clips.
Oh yeah, so this is a good question, because I actually didn't know this. Apple mentioned it, but I didn't really know how it worked until recently, when I was going to release a new version of the app that I work on for Heady. And I saw in the App Store that there was actually 5 slots for app clips. So you could upload up to 5 different app clips, and they can be completely different from one another. So I'll use my Panera Bread example and say, here in the Panera Bread maps, you might have an app clip that that you can quickly order. But let's say Panera Bread wanted to introduce Store Finder, maybe on Instagram or something like that. They wanted to give the user the option to interact with an app clip that could search their stores and use the Store Finder capability of their app. They could have both of those app clips. They both have separate codes, and they can be introduced in separate channels. I don't know if 5 is the max, or if that's just what I saw, because we don't have any yet. But we'll I guess we'll find out. I'm sure there's some Apple information out there about this. So
there is, and I'm not fully sure exactly how it works too, but I do know that Yelp built, or they have the ability to build app clips for different providers or services listed on Yelp. To the tune that if that were the case, and if that's true, that means I think you can have infinite versions of app clips for your particular brand. But TBD, I'm not 100%. I think there's something out there that talks to that length. I would encourage whoever is interested to do their own research right now, because it is still very new. It was released literally this year, and WWDC adoption is, my guess is adoption will be high, just because it increases the discoverability of your app, and it's a low effort from a development standpoint. You can, like I mentioned earlier, you can share assets, you can share some of the code, you're using the same environments. So if I were a product owner, when I think about those things and I think, okay, well, this does make it easy for people to at least taste my app, if you will, before downloading, why not? And I think for those reasons alone, there will be good adoption early on. And then if it is an experience that's sticky and if people do like it, then probably it'll become a mainstay, and there'll be app clips even before there are apps potentially.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think adoption will be quite high, actually, because just from our own exploration. So here at Heady, we actually did build an app clip, and I was involved in that build. It utilizes existing code. We didn't need to touch the back end at all. So it literally was just our app front end team, two developers, and they worked on this app clip with me. And that was actually a really unique opportunity, because most things that have ever come up with this app that I manage, we have to talk to several different teams, get really deep into their ecosystem. This is something that you can create like so siloed. Not that I recommend creating things in silo, but you can literally create this without involvement, like heavy involvement and heavy dependencies on other teams. So that is actually really unique for new technologies. A lot of, I don't know if you guys have ever like integrated new SDKs and like needed to integrate them in your full stack or anything like that. But this was literally just me and like two front end developers. So it was pretty cool. How long did it take for your team to launch the first app clip? The build actually took around 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, while we were figuring out kind of the idea. We haven't fully launched it yet, so it's a work in progress. Maybe I'll share one day with you guys what it is. But in terms of launching it, you do have to make sure that all of your I'm not sure if it's like SDKs or what it is exactly, but your technical dependencies are updated. I know you have to be on Xcode 12. So there are some dependencies, but it was actually a pretty short build process. Okay, cool. I can see Rahul post our closing statement, so I'll let him close. This felt like 5 minutes instead of 30. So thanks, guys.
It did. Thank you. I wasn't sure how strict they are, and I didn't want the message not to be there and us all getting cut out from this call. So I posted it there. But yeah, I mean, if you are interested in building an app clip or just want to chat more about it, we're available. Shoot a note to info@heady.io. Again, the agency that we're from is Heady, and our website is www.heady.io. We're definitely looking for product managers if you're in other positions as well. So if you're interested in working in teams that build app clips and other cool Apple and Google products, definitely check out our careers page, which I've shared the link to right now. And yeah, we'd love to continue the conversation. I think app clips are here to stay, at least for a while. And then all predictions are predictions. So, Marina, what is our closing thoughts? What is your prediction? Do you think app clips will we be talking about app clips a year from today?
My closing thoughts is that if we're not talking about app clips a year from today, I think we will be. But if we're not talking about app clips a year from today, then we're definitely going to see a general movement from the industry into creating more interactive physical experiences, especially after COVID. But yeah, my secondary closing thought is thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Shortest 30 minutes of my life. I could talk about this for an hour. So I appreciate the time. And as Rahul said, please reach out if you have any questions. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm sure you could find Rahul too. And he posted some links to get in contact with Heady. So thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. And thank you to Radar, to all the sponsors, to everyone who made MOA possible. And thank you for inviting us to participate. That's it. I don't know I can leave, but I don't know if the session will stay on or not. So is that what we should do, Marina?
Yeah, I think we're gonna drop off, so we're respectful to other people's sessions that are probably starting now. So thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.